You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions. Item carries. Item 2, to consider and if appropriate, approve a request from James Finch, Finance Director, to waive the bid for auditing services and award the contract to Clifton Larson Allen in the amount of $92,500. Jim, Catherine?
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm here with my assistant, Catherine LeBanca, Assistant Finance Director. My name is James Finch, Director of Finance for the town of Branford. As the board may recall
This
from
program
previous years, we are seeking these waivers because our code, which covers audit services, but the limit is $75,000. So a couple of years ago, I think it was 23, the amount was just over $80,000. It was $89,000 last year, and it's $92,000 this year. The appointing authority is actually the Board of Finance in Branford per statute. But in order for the Board of Finance to make an appointment, this body must waive the bidding, because otherwise the Board of Finance wouldn't be able to appoint. I think, as I mentioned in other years and in consultation with my colleagues, the audit environment is still a very difficult one. So what do I mean by a difficult audit environment? While people watching may think it's difficult on those getting audited, which I won't minimize that, as Catherine can attest to, what I mean by a difficult audit environment is essentially that it's very difficult to get auditors these days. A number of them are sticking with their existing clients, and what continues even to this day, and speaking with my colleagues, is that they're not getting very good responses on their RFPs. Sometimes they're getting one, sometimes they're getting two. An area town, for example, sent out 6 RFPs and only got 2 responses. So in our case, it's sort of the devil we know versus the devil we don't. As this board may be aware, we're also out of our cycle still. We're trying to still continue to catch up. We face a number of challenges with the audits. I think it's important to remember when you look at completing the audit task, there's really 3 parties involved. There's us, the town finance department. There's the auditors themselves and their staff, firm, and scheduling. And then there's the Board of Education. The Board of Education actually has their own bank accounts and issues their own checks. So they're looked at as well in the scope for that. So all 3 sides of the triangle have to be in place for them to release the audit. And so that's an additional challenge that may be somewhat unique in Branford, but it's something that we continue to work through. So if there's any questions.
Okay, any questions? No, I need a motion to.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, move second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor,
Thank you.
say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions. Thank you. Thanks. Item 3. Actually, you know what? I'm going to amend the agenda. Revised wording. I believe it was properly noticed, dealing with the Thimble Island Refuse and Recycling Collection contract to the lowest bidder. However, let's first do a motion to amend the wording to reflect to consider and, if appropriate, the board rescind the Board of Selectmen vote on April 23rd, 2025 to award the Thimble Island Refuse and Recycling contract to Samuel Grunwald due to the fact that he is unable to obtain the minimum insurance requirements, and award the contract to Brookstone as recommended by the Solid Waste Management Commission.
I'll make a motion as amended.
Move second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the item is now on there.
Tyler Brown,
Yep.
Sustainability and Compliance. So as the first selectman just noted,
We spoke with Sam Greenval, and they were not able to provide the necessary insurance for the contract to move forward. They sent us an email stating they would not increase their insurance, so that was where we moved on to looking at Brookstone, Joshua Brooks' bid. Josh bid 2 different bids. One was an alternative bid, so the base bid of $77,700 includes a insurance policy of $1 million. If you did the $2 million policy, it would be a base bid of about $114,000. So we looked at these numbers and compared insurance, spoke with the Solid Waste Management Commission, and they voted unanimously to recommend to the Board of Selectmen to award the contract with Timber Island Trash and Recycling Collection to Brookstone for their alternative bid at a base price of $77,700 for the first 3 years, with conditions that include retaining the $1 million commercial general liability per occurrence and any other insurance conditions required by the town.
Okay. And just to, it's important to note that in the bid solicitation, it does, or it did allow for alternative proposals. There was wording.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Move second. Any further discussion, questions?
How's this pricing compared to last year?
Last year, current year, we're at 20,000. We projected a budget of 25,000. This comes in at 25,900 per year.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Move second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed, abstention, item carries. Thank you. Item 4, green use, to consider and if appropriate approve a request from the Shoreline Community Church for the use of the town green, this will be the rear green area, on July 8th, 2025, to hold a concert from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, item carries. Item 5, to consider and if appropriate approve a request from Stony Creek Association for the use of Bayview Park on September 6th, 2025, to hold Stony Creek Day 2025 from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move second, and then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, item carries. Item 6, correspondence. I don't believe we have received any correspondence.
I have not.
No? Okay. Item 7, any other business? Yes.
Good afternoon. I'm Dan Halley. What are the current plans for the central redevelopment in the center of town?
So the town, as you know, the town went out to bid. We received bids. There was a informality or an issue with the apparent low bidder at the time. That's being reviewed by both the state of Connecticut and town council. We're waiting for an opinion on that.
Okay, so does that mean then that the Branford Festival is going to be moved back to the center of on the green, or is it still scheduled for down here at the?
As far as I know, the
Hammerfield
festival committee is still proceeding with keeping the festival on the Hammerfield as they planned.
So I just see that you passed something for July 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be interfering with your town center plans?
No, we've relocated the stage to the rear of the town hall over by close to the cenotaph. We've actually started our Friday night concerts down there, invite the public to attend, 6 o'clock. So that's what they're utilizing for a number of events. We'll utilize the back side of the green.
Okay, and as for parking for the festival, as you can see, if you get a busy day here at the community house, where there's something with the senior citizens, there's something with the youth playing, and maybe a meeting or two in the building, there is no parking to be had. Are there some plans in place for parking, additional parking for the festival?
Well, as you know, the festival takes place on the weekend. So the parking will be, there's availability at the train station parking lot, the on-street parking where allowed, the other municipal lots. And I believe I think they're considering doing a shuttle service, shuttle service, as they have in the past. So similar, there's, no parking
Okay.
on the town green, but they accommodate the festival. So,
Will they be allowed to be in that municipal parking behind
yes,
where the bakery is and all that?
yes.
Oh, okay. What are the current plans for East Industrial Road?
East Industrial Road is under design by a new, by an engineering firm. The engineering firm that was initially engaged to do the design work did not meet any of the milestones that we expected. We then took the project back and engaged another firm. That's being handled through our town engineer.
So that's been going on since 2017, I think, is when the money was approved.
Probably. Yeah, close to that.
And now the money that Rosa DeLauro got through the federal government, is that still available?
Yes.
And, but the money that was targeted for our school system is not available now, is that so? What is that, about $6 million, I understand?
I would not be able to give you a number or what really has been. I know there was an article, maybe that's where you heard, the school district, in terms of Branford, we know what, obviously they are, as stated through our budget process, are they receive out of any departments the largest amount of funds through state and federal, primarily state. As far as any impact to programs or if a direct loss of funding, I don't have those numbers, or not anything.
But we do know
nothing's
that
been confirmed.
there's going to be a loss of funding because there was an adjustment in the budget for, I think it was $6 million, right?
Are you talking about our budget?
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure.
Was it not an adjustment of some money? Because
No.
none at all.
What you may be thinking of, some rose concerns about the uncertainty of what's happening at the federal level and how that would impact the town through the town budget. So we made, back in our February meeting, we made a number of moves and transfers and appropriations to put us in a better position with the overall budget. When it came to federal funds, that concern, we currently receive just under, I think, $4 million in state and federal funds. We took about 3/4 of that, $3 million, and we basically made assigned $3 million of our fund balance for the potential loss of federal and state funds.
So
just wanted, it hasn't been appropriated. We still move forward because at that time we did not hear and we still have not heard of any impact or loss of funding directly. But we essentially earmarked $3 million with our unassigned fund balance in case there was a loss of federal funds.
So have you written any letter to, for instance, Linda McMahon? She's a Connecticut citizen, she's Republican, you're a Republican. Have you written a letter saying that, this potential loss of funds is going to affect children? It's not affecting one party or another, but it's affecting the children of Branford and the quality of education within your town?
No, because we don't know we don't have any impact. We haven't been notified of
so
any.
you weren't proactive on this then?
Well, because I think it would be.
You're proactive in one sense because you're anticipating a possibility of loss of $3 million, and yet.
That was really just to address that. as I mentioned, the February meeting, we did a number of appropriations and other authorizations, as well as a few assignments, which in the past Branford really has I don't think has ever done any assignments of fund balance. There was a concern stated by some, particularly some RTM members, in raising that question, and others. So what we were trying to signal is that the town has resources if in fact any of those federal cuts came to fruition. And we wanted to not overreact. We wanted to be, yes, basically signal that we have means that we can go through, similar to what you may recall when Governor Malloy back in 2017 basically zeroed out all local funds. Basically, any state aid was zeroed out. Many towns were kind of left, uncertain what to do when they were adopting their budgets. Many of them were postponing them. There was a lot of concern. What the town did, we actually brought forward at that time, because there was a document, the governor's proposal, so zeroed out state funds to municipalities. We then took that additional fund balance, brought forward to offset any loss of state funds. We were then basically spectators of the state process. We were able to adopt a budget on time, set a mill rate on time, and we began our fiscal year really, being able to provide programs and services and that we typically do without concern. So here we are at a point, so you may recall we did that. With this, we haven't received that notice, and I think even the Board of Finance asked the question of the superintendent, and I think the superintendent had stated basically what you're reading at that point in time. The cuts to the Department of Education wouldn't have a direct impact on local municipalities at that time. It was really kind of focused on other areas. I believe you also heard the governor even at that time state, there's a lot of, don't overreact to headlines. And we didn't. We basically signaled to the community that, with the uncertain times, we're providing some certainty here in Branford that we're going to continue to fund programs and services that we provide, including schools.
So basically, you didn't take that proactive step. Now,
Nothing from second level.
and you haven't talked to anybody at the state level or the Republican state chairman at all about your concerns about the possibility of losing this. After all, the Republicans now nationwide are in power. You are a Republican. A Democrat to write a letter to Republicans is like, you might as well just shred it and throw it into the wind. However, you have some power. And if numerous Republican town committees and Republican selectmen, mayors, et cetera, write their concerns about this, because this impacts our children. If you write those concerns and say, look, we're concerned about this, we would like to have some definition on this so we can plan going forward. I would think that would just be a reasonable thing to do. The town attorney used to be a state senator. He has obviously contacts in the state. Those type of things to me would make sense to be a little proactive on the thing. But I understand that you're taking a different approach. Where is the town dock project as now? Well, is the town dock completed now, or is it?
Branford Point, the town dock? Yes. Yeah, we received a SHIP grant of just recently to rebuild the Stony Creek dock. We just received funding that, but the town dock is complete.
Okay. I have a concern about these wires that are spread against on the floor here. That's an unsafe condition. They should be at least taped down. So somebody, I don't want to say anybody's older here or elderly, but on the other hand, I like to take my trips planned and not unplanned. That's a safety issue. I don't understand why this room was not, when it was redone, and actually this is a new room, why something wasn't facilitated to make this so it's a plug-in thing and it's not wires across the hall. There is no place right here where you can have any video as far as I can see. And
Where you can see a screen?
yeah, I don't see a screen. Do you see a screen? I don't know.
No, we have, I have a screen here, and if we need one, we bring one in. But yeah, we do. We have a portable 84-inch monitor that they bring in as well, but they also have the projector screen there behind you. As far as film, as you know, it is set up, BCTV did a
I
setup.
understand.
The wires on the ground, I guess, maybe they could look into doing a wireless mic. It's the same setup we have really at the fire department. We had those on the ground as well. Please don't walk this way. The means of egress is that way, so don't approach
Well,
that.
I'm not planning on it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Motion to adjourn?
All right. Any other business? No? All right.
Second.
Move second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
How you doing?
Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.